was my therapy on Sundays anyway. May as well share it with the people. And so basically, this is what I'm getting at. If you're a Miami fan, this show was created for you. If you're an Arizona fan, this show was created for you. If you're an Arizona State fan, this show was created for you. If you're a Texas fan, this show was created for you. It was that kind of, if you're a Notre Dame fan, this show is created for you. Although I don't know that you're getting into the sacrament this early on a Sunday morning. But the first Saturday in October was absolutely insane. It yielded so many results that had us in studio all day going, what in the hell just happened? And if you really start in that noon window, what Oklahoma did to Texas in the Red River rivalry down in Dallas, you look now at the landscape of the sport as we sit here on the first Sunday in October. I don't even think that's right, though, because I think it was October 1st. Anyway, what Dylan Gabriel in Oklahoma did after getting beat 49-0 last year was insane. And I know Dylan didn't play in a game last year. He certainly got his retribution on Saturday. That final drive, no timeouts left, the big play to Drake Stoops, Nick Anderson, the game-winning touchdown to lead Oklahoma past number 3 Texas. Celebratory hungover cheers to my friends from Boomer Sooner. But now the landscape in the Big 12 changes. There's 2 ranked teams in that conference, Oklahoma and Texas. My guess is if I was a weather guy forecasting the future here, I'd say those teams are going to meet up again in the Big 12 championship. And now if you're Texas, you've got to win that game and hope things around you go awry. I thought, my colleague Dan Mullen thought, a couple of other people thought that Texas was the most complete team in the country based on their body of work going into that game. They just dug themselves too big of a hole. I mean, they really did. It was a hole that started early. They climbed back. Jonathan Brooks tied it at 27 late in the game, and I thought they were going to have an opportunity after Quinn Ewers led them down for that field goal until Dylan Gabriel showed up. And so now looking at it, here's what I'll say about Oklahoma. They're playing defense this year because Brett Venables has taken over back to what he's good at, which is calling defenses and making that thing happen. Between Venables, what he's doing with the defense, and Dylan Gabriel staying healthy, Oklahoma is a bona fide college football playoff team. With what they have at every position, you have to start looking at them now. They're going to jump way up in the rankings. With their schedule's favorable. With what they have coming up, if they get to the Big 12 championship game undefeated, which, again, based on their schedule, they likely should, that rematch between Texas and Oklahoma is going to be the game of the year. Because now Texas should go into that one unscathed past the one they just had yesterday. That's going to be the game of the year. And the rematch is going to be for a college football playoff spot. I just hope that they remain unbeaten to that point, because that's going to set up for one of the great games we've had this season. And I'll also say this about Dylan Gabriel. Put that man's name in the damn Heisman race. Put it in. That was incredible. That's the kind of drive that makes you an Oklahoma legend. And while I'm on a soapbox for a Heisman Trophy, Drake May, to me, if it wasn't for Caleb Williams, and I'm not so sure sitting here this morning, he's still not the best quarterback in college football. Drake May accounting for over close to 500 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns. He's insane. That's another team that needs to be looked at seriously. And kind of the same, kind of a weird segue into North Carolina, Oklahoma, Texas. But the reason I say it is because now Gene Chizik has North Carolina playing defense. We know they're going to score points. Tez Walker comes back. That's a great story. But if Gene Chizik and North Carolina continue to play defense, they can win the ACC. And if you win the ACC unscathed, you're going to the college football playoff. There's a lot of football left. Louisville's playing well. One of the stories of the year upsetting Notre Dame, which, by the way, I think if you look back at some of the YouTube clips, we thought, including Dan Mullen in our weekly preview, called that Louisville was going to beat Notre Dame. But the ACC now is drunk. What Miami did yesterday at the end of that game and not taking a knee and letting Georgia Tech get that win. So now Miami, they've got a conference loss that was absolutely inexcusable. Florida State still looks amazing. North Carolina's undefeated. Jeff Brom in his first year back at his alma mater at Louisville. There's just stuff all over the country happening. The Pac-12. You go to the Pac-12, USC lives dangerously every week. They got by Arizona at 2:30 in the morning. How do I know that? Because we were there. Washington, Oregon. That's going to be a great game next week. There's just so much to talk about on the first Saturday in October, because now we're getting to the point where we're getting into the meat of conference schedule. Separation starting to happen. Georgia, who everybody said was, they sleepwalk. They can't get through. They can't do that. They're going to get got by playing slow. Well, guess what? They're Georgia again. I hadn't bought in yet because I thought that they just done anything that impressed me. But it appears Carson Beck is absolutely legit. 398 yards, 368 yards. I'm too lazy to just click Google. But either way, he had well over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. He looks every bit of the part. Brock Bowers. Georgia just absolutely slapped Kentucky. It's their division to lose. They're in the driver's seat there. So it appears Georgia's well on their way to another SEC championship game. On the west side of it, you want to talk about fun. So Ole Miss comes off the LSU win a week ago and did just enough against Arkansas to make you think, oh no, here comes a Lane Kiffin letdown. Nope, got the win late. So now Ole Miss still in this thing.
Give me something.